Leafs talk, JD Bunkis, Sam McKee. The Leafs get pumped by the Florida Panthers. They get drubbed. It's 5-1 in what was deemed a measuring stick game. Buddy, I'm going to tell you right now, okay? I hate to do this. I hate to set it up this way. But this is clearly a missed opportunity, right? Like, no one debates that. Missed opportunity in the standings, missed opportunity to go in there and get like what would have been a real statement game, getting a win with a shorthanded team that's been playing well. I got to say, there was a bunch of stuff in this game that I was kind of like somewhat encouraged by, little small details.
Okay, crap.
And I did moral victories. This was moral victory night for me. Basically down 2-0. I went right into moral victory mode. I shut down on elite critiques. I got 1 or 2.
Agree talk tonight? Like, crap.
Agree talk soft boys, eh? No blood. Just
sure. There's a few things you can nitpick on, but
there's one.
I will say that to me was a well-coached effort for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Clearly shorthanded. We're losing Bobby McMahon in this game to add to how shorthanded you already are. But I thought that the compete level was there. A lot of the guys were in the right spots for most of the night. They were trying to play Berube type hockey. I thought, lines that had 3 AHLers had decent offensive zone time multiple times. Like, I really did think that it felt like a well-coached team. The D-core looked good to me. I thought Tanev and McCabe were really good against top competition. There's a lot of things that I liked in this game, but when it comes down to it, when, Marner and Nylander aren't on the ice, and sometimes when they were on the ice, you just have no chance. Like, you just really, really felt that the difference in the talent level and the difference in the amount of NHLers in the lineup between the two teams, it was too much to overcome. And you can overcome it against the Utah Hockey Club on a Sunday night. You can overcome it against some of these crappier teams that the Leafs have beat during this stretch. But tonight was the first time we're like, oh yeah, they need some of their NHLers back to have a chance against this team.
Yeah, that was my thought too. Is this was the first time where it really felt like, oh, this is an AHL forward group against an NHL Stanley Cup champion who, like, the boys are in over their skis tonight. This is just a really tough one to hammer them on because it's very far removed from the Leafs team that you're going to see. And I don't have a lot of guys that I circled tonight and went, wow, like this was really horrible or this was really awful. You're right about the coaching stuff. I just thought that they tried to play a low event game. They started slow, right? Against a hungry Panthers team that was desperate to get a win, has the Leafs in their building. Their coach, like we all heard everything from the broadcast. I don't even need to really go over those. It was like bag skate. Maurice gives a big speech and Panthers are ramped up and they weren't going to let Toronto hang around. They were going to come out and give their best punch. And there's a power play early on. Unfortunately, I thought Grebenkin's worst moment of the game. I don't know why people are upset about that one being a penalty. It's like it's in the numbers. It's from behind.
It was a weird one because they're kind of going in parallel, but he ends up touching the numbers a little bit. I think I thought both plays that resulted in power plays in the first 5 minutes of the game were an easy play on situation, like where
but that's the thing they called the
pushes them over. Yeah, they have to call the second one if they call the second one. That's what I mean.
So I was like, I don't know. I wasn't going to cry over that. I got some people messaging me being like, "Ref talk," and I was like, this is not the.
I will not.
We don't talk about the refs, but like that is an absolute don't talk about the refs. Anyways, they rip it around. They beat Stolarz. I think that again, Stolarz has been great this season. That's one that you'd maybe like to have.
Sure.
He did get beat clean a second time tonight, but you would like to see him get across his post there and maybe make a save. You're going to need him to stand on his head to win that hockey game. But yeah, once the Leafs are down 2-0, you just felt like, oh, these guys, it would be a miracle for them to score 2 goals in this game. They're not scoring 2 goals. And they had some opportunities, but the power play, you're looking at PP1 and it's got Alex Nylander on it. And you're like, oh, yeah. This is going to be tough sledding tonight. So, they fell behind early. And then I thought that they got back in the game, like around the 11-minute mark in the first period. Leafs started to kind of dig in, grind, gave them a lot of good shifts. Pretty competitive effort for, again, a team that was really just out-talented tonight and overmatched. And so, I'm not overly upset about it. And like I said, I have a few takeaways that I think are positive because I'm looking at this one as, man, what a test for the Mintons of the world, for the Grebenkins of the world, that they get to be in a game like this and see what it's like to play Florida Panthers hockey in what was a meaningful game. So that to me is probably more important than anything that transpired tonight, honestly.
For sure. I mean, I love right after they scored the second goal, they had multiple really good shifts where, You know, there's that cycle shift where it's the third line where they have Grabankin out there, they have Minton out there, and they're going along the boards and they're making a great play, and then the puck comes through Grabankin and he gets it out to Minton, and Minton rings one off the post with a great shot. And if that goes in, you know, it's a different game. You start feeling better about yourself. It clearly didn't go in. And, you know, I didn't really mention Alex Nylander a whole lot in that shift. You know, he's out there trying, he's out there playing or whatever. But I thought the key guys in that play were Grabankin and Minton. And I like a lot what I've seen from Minton. To me,
me too.
I have to say that he was lower down on my depth chart, mostly because maybe he was the captain of one of the worst World Junior teams that I've ever seen. And maybe that had some of my biases towards it. There's maybe something there. But I just, you know, I saw him last year make the team and he was great in preseason, but he didn't do much when he actually got the call up, right? Like when he played, I don't think he really had much of an impact or whatever. But through his, however many games he played, is this his fourth game or his third game?
Third.
Through the 3 games that he's played, I've seen more from him than I did in that 9-game sample he had last year to start the year. Clear growth from him. Really like what I'm seeing from him. Responsible, right side of pucks, all the stuff they talk about. You just want him doing this for the Marlies. You don't want him out there having a battle against Florida and Tampa and, you know, it's good experience for him for sure, like you mentioned. But ultimately, you want him down doing this stuff where he's excelling at the AHL level before maybe he's ready to contribute full-time next season.
Well, this is the thing that sucks when you don't have a lot of depth, right? Is you're forced to, and not like this small sets of games is bad, but I agree with you that a full season of this guy playing major minutes for the Marlies on the top line, where they're scoring goals and getting consistent power play, like it's not as he gets pulled off of power play 1 after 2 games, and you're like, yeah, obviously he didn't, you know, it's not his fault. He's not ready to be doing that, but you want him to be playing power play minutes. You want him to have 20 a night in a professional league. And against the Florida Panthers in a competitive game, you're just not getting that when you're Fraser Minton. So to me, he's still a developing player. The problem is when I watch him play right now, I go, yeah, you're not one of the worst 12 forwards on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like
he played 15 minutes again tonight. So he's been up around 15 minutes every night that he's played. Like he's a real contributor in a time where they've really needed him. And I think he ended -2 tonight. So, you know, that's the way it goes for him. But I think one of those maybe was an empty net. But anyways, I've liked what I've seen from him. So we'll see how much he gets to go once guys start getting back healthy here and what they're but it feels like as long as Kant's out, and he went on LTIR, right? I think he's eligible to come back against Detroit mid-December. So feels like as long as he's out, he's going to be around. So we'll see more from him. But I thought another pretty impressive night for a kid that's contributing above his level tonight.
Totally. And honestly, I thought the same with Grabankin is like
his best night for sure.
He was awesome tonight. For again, you got to have it for what your expectations are, right? Because people are probably going like, oh, you say it, everybody's awesome. They lost 5-1. It's like, yeah, man, again, AHLers playing against the Florida Panthers. And both guys had multiple shifts where you noticed them in positive ways. And to me, it's like one of the takeaways from this game that it like actually means something is if you're Toronto and you are playing Florida, you got to stay out of the box. Like the penalty kill is great, but that Florida power play is very scary and you can just put you behind in a hockey game. So you got to be disciplined, right? And so the Grabankin penalty aside, I thought he was solid tonight. There was a couple moments where he's threatening. He kicks over the puck on the only goal that this team has. You know, fine skater, plays with an edge. Again, that's the penalty that we're showing right now on the old YouTube screen. But I like him along the boards. I think that he's just a player who's engaged. He's really trying to take a lot away from this opportunity. I like the way that they're showing cutaways to him and Minton on the bench talking to each other after shifts, like they're communicating.
I'm sure those are pretty groundbreaking conversations.
Yeah, but he's trying, bro. Like, you know, it's just like he's trying.
I know.
I like his game. And so for me, again, like if we're doing meaningful takeaways in this one, like the thing that is just so abundantly clear at this point is that the Robertson era has got to be done. You just gave him an opportunity with William Nylander tonight. And it was just like the classic game where the kid's working his bag off. It's not an issue thing, right? Like you can't fault him for it because
an effort thing, you mean? Yeah, it's not an effort thing.
No, he's trying out there, dude. He's trying so hard. You can tell how much he's pressing, but he bobbles pucks and he can't stay on his skates. Like, look at this shift. Where it's like I don't know. No, this is the goal that they let up where he's brutal on this one, man. Yeah. Like the second goal of the game.
Did you see Borney in the intermission?
No.
Nailed it. Like, he's just totally fighting it. And he goes in there to throw a body check.
Yeah.
And he's just like, that's not your game. Like, what, like, why? And he just gets him right at a position. Now he's lost and he's looking around. He's standing there still. And it's like, why are you trying to throw a body check against a guy that's just not going to do anything?
Hey, buddy.
Use your stick. Like,
hey,
what are you doing?
Hey, Sammy. Justin Bourne doesn't need my help, but this is what I actually texted him before the break. So he, this was literally what I texted him after the goal. And so if you had let me finish that one, that was like literally the point that I made to Bourne in the text. I hated that shift from him. And then it just looked like he got lost too, where it was just like, he kind of had a bit of a stutter step where he's like, oh crap, what's going on here? And panicked when things started to go poorly. But this shift in the offensive zone is the one that just like kind of broke me a little bit with Robertson tonight, where the Leafs are actually getting something going on. Nylander's ripping the puck around. It's feeling like they're going to be dangerous. A puck goes down low to him and he can't handle it. And I hate that. I shouldn't say I hate this because I actually kind of like this, but it's like, man, he used to be scratch and score. Now it's just like Nicky bobbles. Like he just bobbles pucks constantly. Like it happens so much. And then the shift dies because he can't stay on his skates, falls down, and the Panthers get his own exit. And I know that some of this is frustration for him. I know that some of this is definitely in his head. I know that if you play him for 100 games, he's got enough goal scoring talent that he's going to end up having a couple of games where he strings them together and some pucks go in the back of the net. But watching Rebenkin and watching Minton and even watching Steves and some of these other depth players that Toronto has, it's like they can just do more for you. The floor is just so much higher for them than it is for Nick Robertson. And frankly, the first body out for me is him. It's just, it's over. It's done. And for anybody that's still on the island, like there's just nothing left to say, because I've been even texting with some of his most ardent defenders and they're out too. So like, I just, it's over. It's done.
Yeah. I mean, now that Bobby McMahon's out, even if Matthews comes back, he'll probably still be in the lineup. Bobby McMahon's not going to play on Saturday night, but if Matthews and Nyes are both back on Saturday night, he's first out. No question. Like there's just absolutely no question. I totally agree. Can we roll that 2-on-1 again there, show, if we can? Like, I've just never seen a guy on a play here who doesn't know what he's doing on a play. Like, if you just see him on this 2-on-1, if we don't have it, it's all good. But like, he holds on to it, and he's in his sweet spot on his, coming down the off wing. That's a spot where you can fire it low blocker, like, and he holds it, doesn't know to, like, clearly nothing there with Willie. Willie's way out wide. If you watch it, it's just fire the puck. Your whole thing, man, is fire the puck. And he tries to got it up to the backhand. You have low blocker on your strong side. Just rip it. That's your whole game. And he's got to go somewhere else and find it, because I think there's a world where he goes. I think there's a world where he goes somewhere else and it works out and he shoots a few in the net for a bad team this season. Sure, that's fine. But it's a broken situation here. It's just a broken situation. And you can just tell that he is a guy that is fighting it so badly and he doesn't know what the hell he's supposed to do out there. He doesn't.
Anyway, I didn't bring this up to just be like, because again, this team didn't lose because of Nick Robertson tonight. It's just that to me, it was the most apparent thing of like, this can't continue. So, you cannot envision him in this playoff series doing anything against a Florida Panthers team. Like, it's again, if it's a measuring stick game where you're trying to have takeaways from it, you absolutely have to come out of this with like a pretty conclusive feeling of like, this guy is just not going to be able to impact this series.
Nope.
Yeah. So, what's next for you?
So we talked about how there's a lot of positive takeaways. I thought the shorthanded goal was
brutal.
A joke. I thought it was a total, you're in this game. It was 2-0 at that point. It's an opportunity to get yourself back into the game.
Yep.
And John Tavares has been really good this season. Give him full credit. He gets knocked on his ass. He draws the penalty. He gets knocked on his ass on this play, the play before this. Gets a shot on net. Clearly tired. Clearly just getting knocked over. And he just makes a play where he's not thinking. And then it's a total dog's breakfast down the other way. And in a game like this, where you're totally shorthanded, you have none of your good players really outside of 3 guys. You can't be the guys that make this kind of mistake that cost you the game, really, because it goes to 3-0 and the game's over. They score in the power play. Mitch has a beautiful goal or whatever on the power play, but you can't, like, this is a brutal play by Tavares. And then they're just totally no communication, lost here. No one picks up the best shooter in the league and he goes bar down from between the hash marks. It's a really, really bad play that you just can't have from your stars. And Tavares been excellent. He's been a really good player for them during this stretch.
But you can still have a really poor moment that costs you the game.
That play cost him the game. That was the game. I mean.
Like that was absolutely, okay, this one is conclusively over now. And especially when the team was actually having a bit of a push there, right? Is they did feel in it. And all of a sudden it felt like maybe the Panthers, that they had given their best punch and that the game started to normalize a little bit for them, and that Toronto was coming back with good energy and younger legs. And so for you to have a power play and then turn it into the back of your net where it's your
power play was awful tonight.
Yeah.
They ended up scoring at the end of that one of the broken play that Mitch gets or whatever. But like for the most part, it was just looking like early season power play again. It was brutal.
Well, it was kind of funny thinking like so I really do think that one of the questions when Matthews comes back is what is the power play going to look like? Because it has been materially better. Like it's just a fact. Since he's been out, it's been one of the best power play units in the NHL. Yeah. And there's clearly a different look to it, especially with the movement that it has. Tonight, it felt like a lot more stagnant, but you went, oh, yeah, you figure out the Matthews getting back on power play one when Nylander's out there, and then they're swapping Benkin in there. You go, okay.
You get him in there. I think you'll be able to find a way to sneak old 34 back on the top unit.
I don't think it's going to be a big old problem getting 34 back on the power play unit right now. But really nice play by Benkin on that goal, too. Like just the awareness to just like drive and then kick it towards Marner. And then, they took it away his assist.
Why? Because I think it hit the other guy first. Like it was like it hit the defenseman before it went. So he didn't get his first NHL assist.
That's brutal. That's a way
classic Florida goals.
Yeah, that guy in there, that booth that does the scorekeeping for Florida is like, no.
Yeah, he took that away on purpose.
That's calculated. That's a calculated move.
Yeah. Bush League.
Yeah, I'm with you though. It's like Tavares, you out of everything that should be accountable in this game, that power play and those guys when they had those opportunity and him specifically, like that is the number one reason that they lost. Like
just get the puck in deep. Get the puck in deep.
Yep, 100%. You're right though, man. So I guess what do you think about Stolarz tonight?
I felt bad for him. I felt bad for him that his first like borderline bad game was against his former team. Probably wanted this one really bad. And listen, the first one maybe should have saved it. Second one, he has absolutely no eyes on it.
No.
Third one is, is he leading the league in goals? Sam Reinhart down the chute, bar down. Didn't love the fourth one. Thought he was made himself a little bit small.
The fourth one was like kind of jarring because like you never see him get beat like that. You haven't seen him get beat like that all season.
So I felt for him. I think it's, the first time where you're really starting to feel that it's a competition here. And like now to me, it's a real question that Wall goes on Saturday, right? Like if you're going by recent form, Wall got 2 in a row and played well, got 2 wins against crappier teams. No question. Like you can't get around that. But if you're not going on by the Stolarz boys, who would both give him the start on Saturday night, I think they're probably going to give the start to Wall on Saturday night against Tampa, right? So it's a tough one for him. I feel for him.
There's a couple things though. One is that I think that we kind of have to give up on the notion of like them fighting for the net because to me it is going to be a split.
Well, they're about to play 100 games in 10 days in December.
That's what I mean. So yeah, the light schedule that we just saw the last 2 weeks is about to kick up entirely. These guys are going to be like really splitting games. And I don't know how much meaning we're going to be taking out of this in terms of like a battle for the net until like truly the final month of the season, the final couple weeks of the season where you're going to be maybe arguing to ride the hot hand unless one guy like truly differentiates himself. So I think I'm going to not read too much into who gets what starts.
That's fair.
For like the majority of the season, or thinking riding the hot hand. What I would say though is to me, if I was a manager, like if I was coaching this situation, I was deciding on it, you'd be torn between 2 ideas here, which is 1, you want to get back to Wool when he's playing well and he's getting in a groove. But then 2, being like, don't you want to give the guy the net the following game to let him kind of set it and forget it and not have this linger with him that he's been sitting on a 4-goal game against his former team for a bunch of days. So I think he's probably like Stolarz is a pro. He's been around for a long time. He'll probably be able to flush this pretty quickly. But I did feel for him, like you mentioned, because I had Brian Boyle on my podcast today, And I asked him about this.
He said, "This is the year." I saw. I was like, "Oh my God,
he-
this is the year, Boiler."
I did a little rant after. I'm also in this is the year vote. I got this.
That has never backfired. No Leaf fan has ever said this is the year.
I said in the rant that I'm willing to put the clown makeup on, but there's like some material differences here that I really believe in with this team. And like, again, you saw some of them tonight where it's just the blue line is better. They're just a team that I believe in the structure. I believe in the coaching. Like they're so shorthanded right now. Some of these young guys are getting these important reps where if they do have to step in, maybe they're not going to feel completely overwhelmed by it. They're going to head into the trade deadline with just very, very clear objectives, which is add forwards, right? Most notably a center, but then like they could obviously use help on the wing. If they're healthy, like they've got their stars in their primes, they've got better goaltending, like better than they've ever had under this Matthews, Marner, Nylander era. I don't know. Tavares doesn't look old. He's been playing well. Tanev looks exactly like you expected him to be. Like I'm just having trouble finding a lot of holes as to like, and the Eastern Conference looks watered down right now. Like nobody looks like a massive juggernaut.
People don't get to the middle of the ice as much against the Leafs, and it's just the slot chances are way down. And that's why when they had on the shorthanded goal, when Reinhart walked right down Main Street, it was like jarring to me. I was like, oh God, I remember that happened every game when the Keefe was the coach.
There were some flashes tonight of like older Leafs, but again, really shorthanded roster. Anyways, the point I was making about the Boyle thing was just like, I asked him about, when guys have the coach face their former team versus players. He's like, no. The players care far more for the guys that are facing their former team. He's like, it's not even that it's acrimonious. You just go into those games trying to really dig deep for those players. And so it obviously means something to those guys. And certainly Stolarz, who's a competitor and wants to prove like, hey, I could have been a guy for you, and just sucks. Anyways, you ready for rapid fire?
One of the chats we got here from old Biff and Hap. Hell of some of these names are crazy. It says Tavares and Marner switched into playoff mode tonight.
I don't feel that way.
I thought that they were not breathtaking by any stretch of the imagination, but they had a pretty tough matchup going up against Barkov, and
I was gonna say, like that's literally the best two-way guy in the NHL. That's the Selke guy. That's modern. That I don't know. I got nothing really about them that I thought the turnover by Tavares was really bad.
Brutal.
But like Marner scored in the game and actually created a couple of opportunities. I thought Tavares was really like digging in deep. Even same thing where it's like he takes one in the mouth and still gets in there and wins that draw
and got a shot off after he got hit in the mouth.
Yeah, like I don't know. They're playing literally the reincarnation of Anze Kopitar, and they still created for some shots. It's just so I don't know. I didn't come away from this game going like, wow.
It's easy though. Like the scars are there. And,
I don't.
You see the Leafs. You see the buddy.
I don't blame Biff and Hap. I don't blame Biff and Hap. Fine, Biff and Hap. You can have that thought. I'm just saying for me personally, I didn't watch this game and go like, wow, what a ghostly performance from Tavares and Marner tonight. Like I didn't feel that way.
I do feel bad for a rapid fire.
Yeah.
God, Willie needs Matthews back or Knies or somebody. They're sending this guy over the boards with the Marlies.
Yeah.
Like at least Tavares and Marner have each other, and McMahon gets hurt tonight. They put Grubankin up there on the top line, which I thought he earned that opportunity. But like Willie's going over with Robertson and with Holmberg and with like whoever the hell else they're sending over the boards. And it's just, this guy's still producing. I saw you do a tweet about this before the game, still producing with absolute, quad A talent. And tonight it really felt like he was like, oh my God, I'm sick of this. And just, he wasn't totally engaged. He wasn't at his best. I think he got his first shot midway through the third period or whatever. But like at some point, I would never say that I understand it because it's a professional hockey league. You got to go out there and you got to play. But when you're playing with these two guys all the time and you're one of the best players in the league, it's got to be pretty frustrating. So
can I tell you something?
That's my defense of Nylander tonight. Is that okay? Or are you going to get mad at me for that one?
No, I don't think there's defense. I got no problem with it. My thing is like Nylander has played with essentially anybody. Like,
anyone.
The only time that Domi looked good all year was when he was with Nylander.
And who was the guy? Was it Knies on their wing? It was those three when they were looking good.
And so it's like, I don't know, man. I am of the mind, like let him suffer with the bums because he has done fine. Like let him drag the bums. They're clearly making some concessions with him. Like he's playing the full power plays. And I wonder if this is actually going to continue where they're like, hey, guys, get off the ice. Nylander, you stay out. You play with power play too. Do whatever. Like they gave his brother an NHL contract. Like, I don't know. It's not all bad. He's like what? Still tied for third or fourth in the NHL in scoring. He's just been so good that this, to me, the model of this team, what you want to continue to find out is, can you have three lines that drive play? And I'm leaving. Hopefully McMahon turns out to be healthy and that he's not going to be missing a lot of time.
It looked like foot. He hobbled off the ice. When he went off, like it was like he was limping. Yeah, and they showed the clip of him getting beat up. It could have been that one where he got it on the knee. There's that weird. There's also that weird. This one here. Yeah. There's that weird knee nerve. Say that one 10 times fast. That like guys go down. It looks like they can't walk, and then they're kind of okay. But the fact that he didn't come back from at all, and this is a guy that's dealt with injuries his whole career.
Yeah,
always banged up. They missed him last year. He was mystery injury. Didn't play one playoff game for them. Like this has always been a thing with him. So I would bet a lot of money on him not being in the lineup on Saturday night against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I'm never like a really big injury speculate guy, but maybe he misses some time. But either way, I think that you found something with that line and you're hoping to continue it. I'd like to see Matthews reunited with Domi over reuniting him with Nylander. And then, I just let Nylander.
Buddy, I'm telling you right now, McMahon out. I'll tell you who's playing together Saturday night if he's back. Matthews and Marner are playing together.
I don't think so.
For sure. If McMahon's out, it's like, well, we're going to break up the line. Were they going to put Grabankin up there?
I don't know.
No, it's going to be Matthews, Marner for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think if you're Berube and you do that, it's like now you're not going to be able to take them back apart, and you've done damage. Like, I don't know. Anyways, a lot of people are asking like what Robertson's trade value is. It's like, yo,
he might not get claimed on waivers. Like,
no, that's not true. He would go for still a third or a fourth round pick.
No
Some team
way.
would take a flyer on him. I think they would. That's my opinion. I'm not going to shift off it. Teams third and fourth round
pro pick, scouts, bud. Like, there's no way. He's a fifth. He's a fifth. Like,
buddy, I've still talked to some people too who are like, yeah, it's take him. He's definitely not clearing waivers. Like, I don't know.
I'm joking.
So it's okay, but it's like I think that he would still go for something in that range between like a 3 and a 4. Like that's what people would pay for Robertson. They'd go, he snake bit, he still got this, blah 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 blah. We'll take him on a challenge.
Then why hasn't it been done?
Because they need him. Like they've needed bodies. You can't trade guys out when you're playing Alex Nylander, Grabankin, Minton, Robertson. Like, who's
the next guy? Where's Abruzzese? Get Abruzzese up. Like, he can't be worse.
Like the next guys.
Get Logan Shaw. Get the Marlies captain up.
Kyle Clifford might make an appearance back with the Leafs. Like it's getting deep. It's getting deep. So that's why they haven't done it. I think when they get bodies back, they're going to move them out pretty much ASAP, Liljegren style, where it's like the first team that offers them anything can have them because it's just clear. It's over. The Tomasino trade. That was the one that it was for a fourth. I thought it was for a third. My bad. But that's kind of what I'm looking at there is like he's worth a fourth round pick then. Third is probably too high. You're probably too low on fifth. Let's split the difference and say you could probably still get a fourth for Nick Robertson.
Virtual handshake.
Yeah. And then you do it. Yeah. And then you do it and you say, time to move on and not discuss this again. I would do it. I would actually do it for less, but simply so that I don't get tricked in the preseason again. I'm like the version of Tim Robinson, like no more tricking adults into thinking they're stars. That's me with Tim Robinson every preseason, going like, you can't trade him, you can't give up on him. He's got something to give, and then it's not really there.
I forgot to ask the guys to clip this.
Potential.
Yeah. Do you think?
Borderline. It's definitely no. Like,
oh, buddy, please let us have it. Then just so we can just whine about player department. I'll do it. I'll be the guy. Let's give them something to talk about.
I don't think this. Okay, so
fine for sure. Fine. Probably not. None of us asked for it. It was like a bang bang play.
Yeah, it was kind of an obvious one to get.
Yeah. That's anyway. I'm not going to bury the A team, buddy.
Yeah, that's true. But come on, that's a big moment. It's a double. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. If we don't have it, we don't have it. But yeah, I don't know. To me, this is one where I go, if he gets suspended, I'm not really going to bat an eye at it. And yet I watched it originally and I didn't think that's a suspension. Like, does that count for anything? Like, when it happened in the moment, I didn't think like, oh, he's suspended.
Here we go.
Yeah, there we go. Boys turn around.
A team's on. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, he draws a double minor.
Yeah.
Oh, A team's back.
A team.
Hot seat A team.
A team completely botched this tonight. This is really, it's like there's the A team.
This is it.
Yeah,
they got it.
Now we got it. So you know what I'm saying though? When I first watched it, I didn't think like suspension. And then the second time I watched it, I was like, oh, maybe he's getting suspended. So I don't know.
And Schmidt was pretty banged up. Like he was in some discomfort. So they always go off how bad guys are hurt or whatever. So I don't know. If they suspend William Nylander, who's never done 130 thing in his career for an accidental cross check to the mouth, that's classic Peros. So
yeah, it's like one of those things though, where it's like with the stick and then the head and neck area.
Oh, he might. Yeah, he's gonna get suspended.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
man.
Saturday night will be fun. Yeah. Who's the next guy called up?
Watching that one that time, like
yeah, he actually might get suspended.
He puts that lumber right in his face. I think that's a tough one.
Is it worse? Like, what's his name just got suspended for something like that? Timo Meyer?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, this one's not even like a situation where like the stick rides up, you know, because those are usually the ones where I think you get a little bit of forgiveness, where it's like hit the body first and then the stick elevates. Like that one's just lumber right to the head and neck. So yeah, I think that's a suspension. I think that's going to be a suspension. So
watching it again, there is potential. Like the thing is, maybe if I'm playing those dorks at the league, I would say like the one thing I would look at is that Nate Schmidt tried to engage him first, and he was going to engage and he just missed. Like I don't know if he meant I don't think he meant matter.
I'm not saying intent, but like again, intent is not. We just learned this. Like intent is not the thing. It's not the thing at all. You're not trying to get in the heads of the players and what they were thinking and what they were trying to do. You give them the benefit of the doubt. That's what track record is.
Let's see this again.
It's
one more time on YouTube.
It's like clearly right in his
he might get a game. You're right. Kraft, you're right.
He's getting one, brother. He's getting one.
Yeah.
I felt the same way when I first watched it. I was like, that's nothing. And then I watched it the second time and I was like, oh boy, that's much worse than I thought it was. So yeah, possible suspension there for William Nylander. Last thing for me. This is the smallest of rapid fires.
Yeah.
Again, meaningful takeaways. This has been an amazing season for Connor Timmins, and I gave him a B+ today on my show. I did all my Leafs grades for all the players, and
it's shaky tonight against some good competition, I would say.
Correct. That was the first one where you go, oh,
oopsies. That high stick was absurd.
Yeah.
Like, what were you doing there? And then he gets barbecued where like he gets his feet stuck in mud. The guy bounces around. I think Boakfist was it that bounced around him. Couple turnovers. I thought Benoit still like made a couple good physical plays.
I liked Benoit tonight. I think Benoit
looked like 23 Timmins to me tonight. I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, it was very much like, hey, somebody's got to be the whipping boy, and on the blue line tonight, it's definitely the guy that took the 2 penalties and got barbecued. Last thing for me. You got anything else? Because I got one more.
No, I'm good. What do you got?
Am I allowed to be lightly annoyed if Matthews plays Saturday night? Like he plays 20 minutes and he's just fine.
Sure could have used him tonight, fella.
That's what I mean.
That's all I'll say.
Like, yeah.
Wouldn't have minded old 34 out there tonight. Would have helped.
If he doesn't play Saturday, then I'm like, all right, who cares? But if he plays Saturday, he plays 20, he looks fine. I'm going to be moderately annoyed. I'll just say.
I had this take on the show on Kipper and Bourne. I was like, you could just play. Like, you could have just played. Like, it's not Berube confirmed. It's not like he's a healing thing. It's like it's a getting back up to speed thing. Like, you should probably want to play this game.
Yeah, like I get it's November.
Still, like you don't want to play.
No, but it's not even that. It's like
75%. You're not better than Alex Nylander or Nick Robertson.
But that's the thing to me is, and I know we're gonna get some cries in the chat of like,
how can you? That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I do too. I'm like, this game against, like, when this game started, when it was puck drop, it felt big tonight. And you went, these are huge 2 points.
Yeah.
Like, for you to send Florida after their bag skate into 5 straight losses, and for you to have this momentum of just like, holy crap, we just beat the defending Stanley Cup champions with an AHL team. And, now we're up, they would have been up, what, 5 points in the standings? Like, it would have been, yeah, I don't know. Apparently everybody says that Kipper says it's going to be 5-1 tonight.
Kipper said they were going to win tonight.
I don't know. Just saying that, like, a lot of people misheard, apparently, then if you got this wrong. Like, I don't know. Maybe you're not.
I got to go back and listen to it, but I'm pretty sure I was sitting across from him. I don't think he said that.
I like, think he's the deity. It's what is the guy called in Dune show? Was it Habib?
I don't know. I've never seen Dune.
You never saw Dune? Yeah, you're one of those guys where it's like you just refuse to see like the big.
I saw the first Dune. I saw the first Dune. I didn't see Dune 2. I like Dune 1, but I didn't see Dune 2.
There is no way I could read that. Kiwizats Hadarach.
Who the hell what is that?
I think you're setting me up to fail here, is whoever wrote that.
What's going on? A-Team's killing us tonight.
Yeah, El Gabib, that's the one. Who's this? Kiwizats Hadarach.
What is going on?
That anyways, whoever wrote that, prison. Like, what's going on here? Like, why are the boys sewering me here? Like, we use you as a support system, and tonight you're throwing out the wrong clips, the wrong names. Like, you're killing me. Anyways, all right. I love the boys. You know that. They're teasing the love. All right. You done? We're done?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I feel like Saturday night is going to be a night that may not feature William Nylander. The more that I watch that game, that play. So yeah, should be fun. Get ready for Nick Abruzzese and Kyle Clifford and Logan Shaw in the lineup on Saturday night when you're down 2 more forwards, McMahon and Nylander.
Oh yeah, buddy. Cannot wait. See you Saturday night. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkis, at Sam McKee. Subscribe to the show. Leave a thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a comment. Do all those things. And we'll see you Saturday night for the Marlies game.